My name is Beverly Bass. I was the first female captain with American Airlines. It was like living in a fishbowl. Everybody at the Flight Academy knew everything that I did. Every place I landed, there were film crews. I don't come from a flying family, but I wanted to fly no matter what. I wanted to fly the biggest airplanes, and that meant the airlines. I always say to young girls today, when they say, how do you survive in a male-dominated field? And I always just say, if you are fabulous at what you do and you maintain respect, you never lose that. It's pretty easy.
American Airlines have the prettiest planes. So I applied as a flight engineer. But the World War II pilots, they all complained. They said girls shouldn't be in the cockpit. Hey lady, hey baby, hey, why don't you grab us a drink? And the flight attendants weren't my friends back then. And they said, are you better than us, do you think?
The first time I saw myself was in La Jolla. We didn't know a thing about it. And I certainly didn't know that there had been a song written about my aviation career. I don't think any of us could have imagined that it was going to become the global phenomenon that it is. She does such a fabulous job playing me. It's exactly how I would be. First few minutes of the show, the actress comes, wheels her chair out and picks up the phone and calls home and, says, Tom, I'm fine. And I remember my husband just buried his head in his hands. That day was much harder for him than it was for me. He was at home with my 2 kids, not knowing where I was, not having any idea. He just knew that I was flying that day. I knew where I was. On 9/11, I was flying from Paris to Dallas on our air-to-air frequencies. Somebody came on and said that one of the World Trade Centers had been hit by an airplane. And of course, like many of us, we thought it was a small airplane. And then about 20 minutes later, they came on the frequency and said the second tower had been hit. And with that came the word terrorism. And that's when life for us changed. We heard that all of the U.S. airspace was closed. We actually come in contact with Gander Control. They ordered us to land in Gander. We literally had zero information, so I was more concerned about my airplane, my passengers, and my crew. We landed about 10:15 in the morning, and they said, you will not be getting off until tomorrow. We as a flight crew did not sleep all night. At about 7:30 in the morning on September 12th, the school buses showed up and we started deplaning. We went to the terminal and we walked in and it was just lined with tables and food. They had literally stayed up all night cooking enough food to feed 7,000 passengers. The pharmacist filled 2,000 prescriptions while we were there. They did not charge one dime for anything. Oh, the people were so kind and so generous and so loving to us. And I've always thought if we could all live our lives like that, we would be a much better world. When I left Gander on September 15th, I remember thinking, I want the whole world to know what we have just experienced in Gander.